Bob, it's the third Saturday in October. Alabama against Tennessee. This year it's in Knoxville. How's everything on Rocky Top?
Well, I think they're excited. Tennessee got through the Florida game last week, won it in overtime. And so that was one of those grinded out games. And I think most people think this is going to be another one of those tight, tough SEC games. But I think anytime you have the third Saturday in October around here, people get excited. And Tennessee fans still remember vividly the win 2 years ago against Alabama here and hope to have a similar type result on Saturday.
Talk us through the season if you could. We saw the explosive results early on in non-conference play, but what's it been like for Tennessee the last few weeks getting into SEC action?
Well, it's been different. It's been more of a run-oriented offense and I think Tennessee fans are used to, and people that have watched Josh Heupel's offense the last several years have been expecting these huge, big chunk plays. And Tennessee's offense in SEC play has not been able to do that. And so against Oklahoma, they ran the ball in the second half. Arkansas was hard to generate anything offensively. They lost that game. And again, same thing at Florida. It was just a tough game that Tennessee won on the legs of Dylan Sampson. So everybody had such high expectations for Nico Iamaleava when the season started that they were expecting it to be another just like when Hendon Hooker was here. It hadn't worked out that way. And Tennessee's run the ball more than anybody in the SEC, which is not what you expect from a Josh Heupel offense. So they're just waiting for the offense to kind of catch up and be able to come up with these big plays. Meanwhile, they've been relying on an excellent defense to win football games. And the defense has been as good as advertised. And the front seven is one of the best in college football. So it's been a kind of a different approach from Josh Heupel's standpoint on how they're winning, but Tennessee's still winning football games, and he'll do whatever it takes to win on Saturday.
Speaking of the defensive side of the ball, who are some of the real standouts our fans need to keep an eye out for on Saturday?
Well, Tennessee lost its best defensive player, perhaps, in Keenan Pili. He tore his ACL against Florida. He was a solid linebacker. Roger, he's been in college since 2016 when he started at Brigham Young. He had a redshirt year, then he went on a Mormon mission, then he played at BYU, transferred to Tennessee, and got hurt last year in the first game and missed the season, and then unfortunately got hurt this year. So a big loss because Pili was Tennessee's leading tackler. But the front seven is still really good, and they come at you in waves. They'll play 3 or 4 plays and bring 4 new guys in, and there's not much of a drop-off. Omari Thomas has played really well for Tennessee. Tyree West is a much improved player. And so that front seven has been as good as advertised. And, of course, James Pierce has been an edge rusher who's been in the backfield the last 3 games especially. So he's a disruptive force. So Tennessee's got a lot of talent in that front seven.
Then how about the secondary? Who are going to be some of the key guys to try and slow down this Alabama passing attack and specifically cover Ryan Williams?
Well, I would think that Javon McCoy, he has turned out to be Tennessee's best cover guy, and he usually gets that top assignment. And McCoy has an interception this year and has been really a good cover guy. Will Brooks has been a great story for Tennessee. He's a former walk-on. He's now playing safety, and he kind of gets everybody lined up. He's also one of the leading tacklers on the Tennessee team. So he's been a really good story, and Will Brooks will be around the football a lot when Tennessee and Alabama play.
Going back to the offensive side of the ball for a moment, you mentioned some of the up and down results we've seen for the quarterback Nico Iamaleava. When he's at his best, what is he doing in this offense?
Well, I guess you could say he throws the long ball really well. Now, they haven't completed all of them, and they haven't completed as many as most Tennessee people had hoped. But he does have a strong arm. He has a great touch on the football. Tennessee fans last year, you watched Joe Milton, who had an unbelievably strong arm, but his accuracy was a little bit off. Nico has a very good touch on the ball, and he throws the long ball very well. They've just been a little bit out of sync connecting on those long passes down the field. So I think they'll keep trying it. They tried it against Florida, just didn't connect. But they want to run the football to set up the long pass. But the long pass has been what's been missing in the offense. Now, Nico's 6'6". He's got great size, and he does run well enough to make him dangerous. So he's, again, got a world of talent, and you can just see it when he warms up. I mean, he's very gifted. but it's just a matter of, for some reason, they just hadn't clicked on these big chunk plays. And Tennessee's hoping to get those going on when they go up against Bama.
Week to week, how do you see teams deal with the pace that Tennessee likes to play with on offense? Does it wear down opponents' defenses a lot?
Well, that's the goal. But unfortunately, I think this year Tennessee has not been able to play at that breakneck speed. They haven't been going in 3 or 4 seconds, mark the ball and then snap it. They haven't been doing that. A lot of that maybe is the growth of growing pains of Nico in this offense. People put him on such a high pedestal when the season began. He'd only played one game, started one game in his Tennessee career before this season. And everybody had already picked him on all these All-American teams and all SEC and all these different things. It takes a while. He's a redshirt freshman quarterback that's really halfway through his first full season as a starter. And I think if you look at a lot of quarterbacks around this league, there are growing pains, and he's kind of going through that a little bit. But he's super talented. He's got all the things you want in a quarterback. It's just a matter of when it all clicks in, and Tennessee's hoping it starts clicking in pretty soon.
What do you love most about this rivalry between Alabama and Tennessee?
It's a good, clean rivalry. I think the one thing I like about it, Roger, is the fact I really believe that both teams respect each other. Now, they might not like each other, but they respect each other. And I think they like and respect each other's traditions. I mean, both schools have had Hall of Fame coaches. Both schools have had plenty of Hall of Fame players. The number of really great football games in this series really stands out. And I just think that it's not one of those series where they hate each other so much. There's a lot of chirping and a lot of stuff that's unnecessary in the game. These guys play hard and they want to play the next play, and they show a lot of respect for each other. And that's one of the things that I admire about this series, and why I think it's the most special game on Tennessee's schedule every year.
Well, Alabama against Tennessee this week, and then what's the road look like afterwards for the Volunteers? As again, both teams kind of lost some of their margin for error with losses a couple of weeks ago. What's it look like the rest of the way for the Vols?
Well, Tennessee, it's kind of unusual. I can't remember this, but this is the second game on a 4-game homestand, SEC homestand in October, and that goes into November. I can't remember. And then an open date worked in there. So that's 5 straight weeks Tennessee's not had to travel or be on the road. And I got to think that's to Tennessee's advantage a little bit. But Tennessee has an open date coming up. And then you got Kentucky and Mississippi State. And the Georgia game this year is in November, which is kind of unusual. Usually it's in September or early October. So that Georgia game looms really big for Tennessee. But as we all know, Kentucky's played everybody pretty tough. And and you guys saw Mississippi State a couple of weeks ago. So, every game's a challenge. Every game's different now in the SEC because these teams are so equal. And so you got to be ready to play. But Tennessee still has some challenges coming up. And, of course, you got Vanderbilt at the end of the year. And Vanderbilt gives everybody fits, as Alabama well knows.
Yeah, know a little too well at this point. We really always enjoy catching up with you. Best of luck to you and the Vol Network crew coming up on Saturday. Look forward to seeing you guys in Knoxville. Thank you for your time.
All right, Roger. Thanks. Always great to talk to you.